And if you could please introduce yourself one more time.
My name is Vondi Grijalva.
It's very nice to meet you. What can you tell us from your experience as a lifer?
Um, so my experience has been both beneficial and um, a bit traumatizing. Um, for the most part, I've chose to make it a positive aspect of my life presently. I'm currently working with women who are on parole, and in the past have worked with men and women who are on parole and federal pretrial services. So I believe giving back 100% is what keeps me sane, sober, and healthy.
If it's not too personal, can you give us a quick rundown of what landed you in prison?
Yeah, mine. What I committed a white collar crime. Um, had never been in trouble before. I went through a series of deaths in my family, which included my boyfriend being murdered. My mother, of course, passed away of cancer. I had other family members pass away within 6 months, which triggered me to use opiates. Um, Unknowingly, I was I had not even touched the trauma that I had gone through in my childhood. So now I realize that that was just, something that had been untouched for several years. So I used opiates to numb my pain, of course. And I had to live up to a lifestyle. I was an accountant for a law firm. And so I just started committing a crime that would support my habit, my drug habit. So I decided to get help one day and was a year sober. And a year after my sobriety date, the detectives came and said that I was going to be tried and prosecuted for the crimes that I committed during my addiction. Um, I was served mandatory prison time without probation because of the amount of money um, that was presented in my case, um, with a long probation tail as well. So I served my time. I came home. I became a receptionist for the recovery program that I worked for, and I became a receptionist. I started from the bottom and little by little worked my way up, and now I am now the director of a substance abuse facility.
During that time when you were incarcerated, how did your mentality change?
Um, when I initially went in, I felt like I was stripped of every piece of dignity that I had ever had. Um, I felt like um, less than a piece of dirt that was on the floor. Um, and I had to make the decision whether I was going to crumble and let the system take me under, or if I was going to survive and let my testimony help other people. And so my journey is more comes from more of a spiritual aspect. I can remember one day praying on the floor and asking God, like, why do you have me here? I'm surrounded by death and anger and bitterness and all of this, that comes with prison. And I said, why do you have me here? And the response that I got was, this is not about you. This is how I'm going to use you as a vessel to spread my word. And from that moment, I knew that it wasn't about me. And that when I came home, I had to share with other people what goes on in there and how the families and the children are affected by incarceration. And it's not just, us men and women going into incarceration and have to deal with the trauma, coming out. It's multiple things. So I knew that I had to make a change.
How did you get in contact with Barrios Unidos or Nana Andres?
My father and Nana were both in Vietnam together, and they both went through, um, their own struggles in life. And coincidentally, they do the same type of work in different states. And we've always seemed to come together in some way, shape, or form. So I believe, with all of our testimonies, that they have not gone in vain because we're able to still help so many people that are lost and people that are still behind bars.
You're in a bit of a unique position because you know Nana so personally, and your father advocates for change as well as you. How have you seen firsthand how other programs fail to help people who are struggling either with the prison system or the situations that amount to landing in there or staying in?
I think one problem that I've seen that I have not seen action taken on is more recovery programs within the system. Um, Also, for women, there are multiple programs for men and not as many for women. So, and that's a huge problem. These are mothers of children, and we come home and our families are torn apart, and we're expected to come home and pick up the pieces where we left off, and there isn't enough help for us out there. So, I'm hoping to change that.
You've done a lot for other people. But what words of wisdom could you give to anybody who's listening? Who's maybe at risk of falling in the same problems, or maybe landing in the prison system themselves, or maybe getting out.
I would definitely say that to find any type of little hope that you can, that there are programs out there that are making a difference. But most of all, if you have, a higher power or whatever you have, that lifts you up. Mine was my higher power, and my children. Um, and I would definitely seek help if there's any type of help or programs or anything out there that are available within your community. That's where people like us come in. If they don't know we're out there, they don't know they can reach us. So
And since you're not from California, correct?
no, I'm sorry, I'm from Arizona.
And if you'd like, you can mention your program or maybe your dad's program for anyone who's looking for help in Arizona.
Yes, I currently work for the Haven, and it's a substance abuse for women and children. And my father is Eddie Grijalva, and he is the co-founder and founder of Wellbriety in Tucson.